welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video in a series where we're going to make a double wedding ring quilt. So, I'm making these videos mostly as a way to preserve some family history. This double wedding ring quilt was made by my great-grandmother, and they lived in Saunders County, Nebraska, both my great-grandparents and my grandparents. And when I expressed an interest in quilting as a young person, my grandmother found one of the double wedding ring quilts that my great-grandmother had sold. She sold them as a way to generate income for her family. She sold them for $25 a piece. But my grandmother was able to find me one, and this is an example. And I have the pattern that my grandmother gave to me, and I thought it might maybe be a good idea to preserve some of this family history before it gets lost. So, in this file I have the pattern that my grandmother made for me, detailing how to make a double wedding ring quilt. They were machine stitched but hand quilted, and this is the pattern. I'll try to find a way to attach a copy of this in the files, but it might take me till the second video or so to figure out how to make a PDF and attach it. But the first step we're going to have to do is cut all the pieces. So I'm not an expert quilter, and this isn't a tutorial on really how to become a great quilter. This is just preserving, as I said, some family history. And in this folder I have the pieces that my grandmother used. They typically traced these onto sandpaper. My great-grandfather worked as a carpenter and a farmer, and they would use his leftover sandpaper, and I have an example right here, and turn it over on the fabric because it was easier to trace around with the pencil. It wouldn't move because there wasn't really enough sand left on the paper to sand anything, but it did hold still when they traced around them. So that's the interior piece for the hexagon that my grandmother made me an example of what their sandpaper templates look like. And here I have some of the other paper pieces that we'll need to be cutting out. I do have some feed sacks that came from the general store that my grandparents ran in Ithaca, Nebraska until it flooded. And then I've also got some other feed stack material that I've collected over the years to do this particular project. So I hope you'll follow along, and that maybe you'll learn something, or at least enjoy seeing the work in progress. So this is the example, again, of what we'll be doing. And this is actually a quilt that my great-grandmother, Anna Schiefelbein, who lived in Saunders County, Nebraska, in Ithaca, made as a way to support her family. So, thanks for joining in, and I hope I'll see you when we start cutting things out.